bright with thoughts of you. Do you remember me? 'Cause I remember you. Silver like a chain around your name, silver like a chain around your name, a painting. The closets in your eyes, they expose the bones. This day is all yours. You, then you will remember me. Now you're screaming and you're bleeding while you're shining and you're beaming. Can't get this noise out of my head now. This bulletproof heart ain't so bulletproof, and it pierces through. And she's twisted too. This knife is your tattoo. I wanna forget now. I wanna forget now. It's the way you look, the way you turn, the way you smile at me. If I don't remember you, then you won't remember me.
Now throughout the rest of the weekend, over 30 bands are being featured on 2 separate stages, 5 of which happen to be local musicians being given a major chance.
First of all, we're sharing the stage with bands like Matthew Good and Big Wreck. It's just amazing. We're selling lots of CDs now. We're learning the business. It's really, really good for us.
Now, this is your first show back since the passing of Jason. How is that going to be for you tonight?
It's just going to be a little more laid back, very cool for this club. So I'm excited, and we've got to get out there and play again.
Ready to rock over here now. We have got a group of guys that originate from Ottawa, and they have definitely captured the attention of fans and music industry execs alike. They have shared the main stage with the likes of the Tea Party, Matthew Good Band, Big Wreck, Edwin, and Wide Mouth Mason, just to name a few. Ladies and gentlemen, here to perform Heavy High, we have Thermocline.
If I don't remember you, then you will remember me.
We first started off about 4 years ago. It was myself and Jason and Graham and Andrew, and we recorded a 3-song demo. It was really cool. We were very, very excited about how it sounded. Jay Rustin, who's now our bass player, he produced it, and it was our first time in a real big studio as Thermocline. It was an interesting time to learn how to record for real and get stuff that sounds radio like quality. It was really, really, really interesting.
All right, so welcome to another season of the Musicians Insider. I'm really excited to launch this season, and our first guest is none other than Anonymous. He's an amazing artist from California, Los Angeles. I met him through some friends, and we used to skate together, and I'm really lucky that he rapped on one of my tracks. So I want to hear more about what is going on with Anonymous and what has been happening with your music career. I know the pandemic has slowed things down, but tell me about what you've been up to and what things are happening lately with your career.
Thank you, man. Thank you for having me on the show. Recently, I've just been working on videos. So I had when the pandemic started, I lost my job and I was on unemployment, but it was like a good thing in a way because I was getting a good amount of money. So I was able to do videos with my homie Nuncio. So we would do videos like at least once a month. And I was just inspired because I lost my job. I was like, all right, well, I got a means of income and I can use this money to, turn that negative into turn it into something positive. So, I made Better Days. I made Let's Shine. And I made every song after that kind of reflecting on my life. Then at some point I was like, all right, well, I'm kind of running low on money. I need to learn how to do this myself. So I bought a camera and started doing photography, learning how to do that, learning how to do videos. And now I'm at the point where I have my girlfriend shoot my videos and I just edit them. And so far, when the first time we did it, some of the shots were shaky and, we're just learning. We didn't have a gimbal or a stabilizer. Then I bought a stabilizer and we're learning from there. But each time we do a video, the quality is getting better. The editing is getting better. And yeah, man, right now, what I've been working on a project. I'm waiting to get like the cover done, and I've been writing songs, so I've been keeping busy. Right now, I'm just looking for a job.
Well, I've been watching a little bit of it, and as you mentioned, the production value every time gets better and better. I'm proud of you, man. It sounds awesome, and I was just wondering if you're doing any shows yet, but I guess it's kind of hard to book shows with this fucked up pandemic. What's the scene like in LA right now?
I know there's shows here and there, but I don't know how. As far as people are asking for your proof of vaccine or a proof that you don't have the coronavirus, as far as that, I'm not too sure. I know some shows do ask and some shows don't. I guess depending on how big the venue is. I know the bigger venues will probably ask for it, but if it's like a small event that's happening, I don't think they'd ask for it if it's outdoors. I think people still wear their mask, but honestly, I'm not too sure, and I haven't really been going to shows.
Right. Well, I think it's slowly coming back. Hopefully next year we'll be able to do something. I'd love to play a show somewhere in the States, and I might do a tour next year. I'll let you know if we're anywhere near you. But I'm playing my first show. It's like a warm-up show in about 3 weeks, 4 weeks here in my hometown area, and I've been at the gym for a week with a trainer. I'm fucking dying. I have to drink 3 liters of water a day. It's the first time I've been in for a long time, so I have a new personal journey I'm working on that's just related to getting in shape for my next year. I'm trying to get rid of these bags under my eyes. I think it's because I've been eating the wrong food. So I never knew that when you work out, you're supposed to eat like a crazy regime of food. I didn't really know how to do that, and I'm kind of all over that right now. It's pretty fun. You been to any festivals at all? Anything at all out there?
I know they have like the EDCs and stuff like that. I know they're having like the Art of Rap. That's in I think in the next month. I think in October. I think that's sold out though. I know they're having shows right here. Like there's one with Ice Cube headlining, and he has a bunch of artists right there opening up for him. But I think it's all the same thing, as they're all asking for proof of vaccine, or to show that you don't have the coronavirus.
I had a talk with Parker, who we recorded with at Excellent Sound. Shout out to Parker and Excellent. Hopefully can connect a little more with him. I know he's doing a lot of really cool stuff. So I don't know. I'd love to get you on another track sometime whenever we can. I really like what you did on So Gone. I mean, that was great. Perfect. Just what it needed. And so my purpose of my podcast, it's called The Musicians Insider. And what we do is it's kind of like, it's advice for musicians. So instead of asking you to tell me, all about, what you're doing, I do want to have that on here. I also want to know, like, what advice would you give a new artist that might be in your area or so, that doesn't really have the resources to do things? I know you're a really killer DIY guy. Like, you'll sit there in a room with all the computers you can and make it sound amazing with whatever you got. And I'm impressed by that. So I'd love to hear some advice you have for some people that maybe don't have the resources you have, but maybe are in a similar situation, and you're pulling it off. So
I would just say just start with whatever you have and whatever you can get your hands on. If you just have a decent microphone or whatever, and you have a little room or a little space to record, I would just record and just learn how to get your flow on point. Well, depending on whatever, if you're gonna go do rapping or make beats, you just keep doing it. And if at some point you feel like you get better, show some people and to see the reaction. But I wouldn't fall too much on it doesn't hurt to show people to see what they think about your music, but don't take it too hard, especially when you're just beginning. You can't be too hard on yourself. You gotta learn how to have fun with it. And that's something I learned. Like, I would do something and I knew I wasn't that good, because when I started with my cousin. My cousin was always better than me, and I would always fall off I wouldn't have it in my verses in sync. I'll be falling off into the next line, but he was always in sync, and I would get irritated. I'm like, fuck, man, I want to get better. But the thing is, it was something in me that just wanted me to get better. I just wanted to get better. So each time I would write a song, I would slowly, trim whatever fat I have in my verses to make it flow well, the transition to be smooth and clean. So I think you just have to have fun with it. And if you don't have resources, I would suggest hitting people up, go to studios. If you have the money, if you don't have the money, save up to buy your own equipment, and then, learn from there. And I would say go to shows, do open mics, meet different people on Instagram, follow different artists as well, show love. Like, you can't just expect to get anything and you're not giving it, So I would just say, keep a lookout for other artists as well. Or I think if you're just around the right people and you actually want to do this, I see it like skateboarding. Like, people always ask me, oh, how do you get so good at skateboarding? How do you do that? I just tell them, like, well, you gotta know how to fall. Like, you gotta know how that as skateboarder, you're gonna fall and eat shit and it's gonna hurt, but you're gonna have to get back up and try that trick again till you get it. So I see that the same thing with music. You're gonna fucking fail so much until you finally land that one trick or get that one song that's really good, So
I love this. This is great.
Yeah, so that's the way I see it, and that's I always use that reference for music or anything in general. You'll be at a skate park filled with a bunch of other skaters, and some may be better than you, but you're trying this one trick and you keep trying, and you're falling, you're eating shit, you're failing, you're constantly failing, and other people are seeing this, and they can be like, oh, he's not gonna get it, or whatever. They might think that whatever they want, But then you land that trick and they see like, oh shit, he was dedicated and he ate shit so many times up to the point where he finally got it. Like he didn't give up. And I think that resonates with a lot of people. Like people love to see someone like that. People want to see someone that constantly falls and falls, but when they get it, they like to see like, damn, he has dedication and he's very passionate on what he does.
You only fail. You only fail if you go home before you finish.
Yeah. And there's times where you're gonna eat shit bad, dude. Like I'll be at the skate park and I'll fall all the way down from the half pipe and land on my back, and I'm like, all right, I'm done for today. Yeah, you'll have those days. You'll have those days, like it's gonna happen, but you just gotta learn how to push through it and know that, hey, maybe today's not the day. You come back to it tomorrow. I think it's just that you can't be too hard on yourself, especially in the beginning stages too. Like you can't. It's a lot harder when you have more years and trying to be like, all right, how can I be creative this time? What can I do differently to do that? And that's like the fun part too, to learn how to be like, all right, how can I step outside the box this time?
I definitely relate to that part. I got a lot of years, but I will say it's cool that, your positivity is coming through here. I really like it. And the main thing is don't give up, right? Stamina. That's my company's called Stamina. I've been working on this forever. I still haven't put out my first album. I'm like 2 albums in and I still haven't put it on an album.
But you've been releasing singles though, huh?
No, it's completely for this record, Against the World, it's completely coming out soon. But it's not out at all. And we shot a new video. I'll have to show it to you soon. But yeah, I guess talking about, the advice thing, I think it's really important that people learn from their mistakes, get back up. And like the skateboarding thing is a really good analogy. Only with the music, you really don't get physically injured.
Yeah. So you get more hurt. It's like, oh man, they don't like my music or whatever.
But that's the thing
is, yeah,
it's like you can get past that so much easier if you just let it bounce off you.
Yeah.
Skateboarding, I don't know how to fall very well. I keep breaking shit, so I'm having a hard time.
I've never broken anything, man. Knock on wood.
You're good at falling. You don't wear pads. I figured out what's wrong. I learned how to skate on ramps at skate parks, and so when you fall, you go to your knee pads or you go to your elbow pads. Yeah. And then when I'm street skating, I'm on a rail fucking bailing, and I'm trying to go to my elbow pads, and I put my arm down and break it because don't know how to fall. And it's not that kids don't want to wear pads, it's that they don't want to go to their knees. They want to roll out of it and run out of it, and the pads get in the way.
Yeah, because you're only allowed to bend so far with the pads on.
But maybe wear a helmet is what I would tell everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I've never been a fan of the helmet at all, but one time it did help me out. I was at a skate park and I was doing I think I was doing an overcrook on a ledge, and I slipped back and hit the corner of the ledge, but luckily I had the helmet. So that's the only time a helmet actually helped me out. But I mean, it's not because I wanted to wear it, it's because at the skate park you had to wear it because they don't want you to sue or whatever.
Do you remember, I think you were with me, I went to a skate park with Adam one time way out near you guys, and there was like this thing where it went down and it went flat and it went up, and it was like those concrete kind of things, and I had my helmet on and I tried something where I was trying to ollie like really high up to the ledge, and I completely missed and I landed on my head, and I was the only guy there with a helmet.
Was it Burbank?
No, it was like out near you guys, like out that way. It doesn't matter, but it was, I just remember.
Or they were living at my grandma's house around that area?
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. Yeah, and it was like a concrete one where it was like a lot of banks going down and flat and up, and it was a park I'd never been to very often. But there was a lot of people.
And it has like the brick side slope, right?
There's like those weird corner ones, like triangle corners everywhere too. Like, you know what I mean?
It might have been 4th Street, right next to my grandma's house.
It sounds like it, one of those ones. And I remember just like landing on my head, and I was the only one with a helmet on. I don't know. I love snowboarding. I love skateboarding. I just need to keep that shit in its place where I can enjoy it. And I guess maybe I'll wear hockey gloves. I don't know how to fall properly. It's bothering me. I mean, I've been skating for so long.
Stick to half pipes, bro.
No,
I don't know why it's way easier to fall and catch yourself on a half pipe than in street.
Because you can slide all the way down.
Yeah, you can catch yourself, and even if you fall, you can kind of find your way to slide down. But there's sometimes you'll have those moments where you'll fall all the way back, and then you won't be able to slide.
So I broke my arm on a spine that was going from 7 feet high to 3 feet. Yeah. And I was doing something. I was gonna try to do a fakey pivot over it, and then I'll just cross it first and practice. And when I was crossing, my foot fell off, and I did a tail block, and I dropped in. It was only 3 feet. But my foot fell off and I just fell weird. My hand went straight down. It's only 3 feet high. There's nowhere to fall. It broke. And I had a fucking wrist guard on.
And you can keep breaking your arms and legs, huh?
I'm just gonna play music. I'm not gonna ride the hoverboard on stage either. I have two of them right there, but
Yeah.
all my
I remember
boards are
those.
right there too. Let me see here. Can I turn that? Yeah, where is it?
Okay, so. Is it the same place from that company you used to work at? Or is it you still work for that company?
No. I'm at home. There's my hoverboards. I rented a place. I now live in Canada, and I have Stamina Music. I'm working on a tour, hopefully, with a couple different things, maybe in the States in 2022. But yeah, just trying to get this podcast rolling, trying to put some pretty interesting people on. I had Ryan, my roommate, on talking about moving to LA. I thought that was a good thing where you could tell people what is it like to move to California from the East Coast and try to be in the entertainment business. Yeah. So any thoughts on anything like that's always wonderful. But tell me a little more about when your next album or next video is coming out, or what do you have next coming out?
Well, I have a project that I'm working. It's done already. Basically, I just been waiting to get a cover, but I'm calling it "So What." So it's basically on every album that I've done. Like for example, like my first project, I called it "Just Breathe" because I had a song called "Just Breathe," which is the song that sparked the whole project for me. And then after that, I had "Touch the Sky" because I wrote a song called "Touch the Sky," and that sparked the next project. So for this one, I know it's been like almost 3 years since I dropped like an official project. I mean, I release singles here and there, but 3 years, and I wanted to drop something that kind of fit like the mood for those first two, to be like the trilogy to that. But I'm making it an EP, so it's like at least 7 songs on there, and it's all, you know, all the beats are by me. I mean, all the lyrics by me. I have a few friends that are featured on there. I've had a guy play a saxophone on one of the songs. I have a DJ scratch on a few songs too. So it's pretty tight, man. But as far as that, I should be releasing it within this next, I would say a month and a half. I got a video coming out, and that's the "So What." I'm calling it, it's the "So What" music video. And I'm basically done editing it, and it's there. I'm just waiting to get that cover so that way I can add like, oh, coming dropping this album, the project's dropping on this day. And once I get that, I can start figuring out how to market it. Because that's what I've been doing. I've been learning how to do Photoshop and do all the stuff to learn how to have more content for Instagram to promote it.
What are you using for distribution?
What is it called?
Is it DistroKid?
DistroKid? Yeah.
Are you using that? So I used DistroKid when it first came out, and it totally messed up on me. But it was when they first started, and I think things have changed since then. Like it took, like they wouldn't respond, tracks wouldn't go up where they were supposed to go, and it was really, really awful. Actually, I had the hell of a time with it. That was like 2012 though. So I'm not here to knock DistroKid, but I'm just thinking like, how is that experience?
I mean, so far it's been good. Like I would post, like sometimes I know they say give it like a month before you post something, so that way if you're like planning on releasing it, you'll put a date, at least do it a month before. But I've done it like a few days before, and it still pops up like within that same day. So I think it just depends. I know on like it'll pop up on Spotify and stuff like that, but on some other like platforms, it might take a little longer.
And are you able to like make a release date and meet that date with that platform? Because I found that a lot of these platforms, if you try to do a release date, like you need at least, like you said, a month, but then it doesn't really happen when it's supposed to. And then they generate the links and you don't have them yet, and you can't do it all until you've released it, because then you get the link, you know, like the backwards kind of things that happen with that.
No, I mean, so far from what I've been doing, it's been working on me.
Awesome.
And it depends. I mean, I'll do it a week before, but at least give it a week. But there's been times I've done like 2 or 3 days to be like, all right, well, fuck it. I'm gonna like, it'll be like the song I did was called "Light My Owl." It's basically me being at the house, it's getting high and shit like that. So I was like, all right, I was like, I'm gonna release this when I release this, and I was like, oh shit, today's 4/20. Fucking might as well. I forgot. I was like, all right, release it today, and I fucking released it, and it showed up.
That's awesome.
Within the same day, I was like, oh shit, like, all right. I was like, all right, well, I mean, like, I guess I don't know how. Honestly, it says some people say month, but I mean, it comes up for me.
So from what I've learned, generally you want to do like when you do release something, you kind of want to do a pre-release for like a month, where you say the first week you release like maybe the single, and then the next week you release a video, and then the next week you have like podcast interviews, and then the next week the album drops or something, like when you're going to put out the EP or the album. Try to have like some sort of like a very simple plan like that will actually really, really help you with your pre-release sales and things like that. And that's what I recommend to people to do. I'm still trying to figure mine out, and when it happens, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, so I'm trying. Not that I'm trying. I've been having time to do it. It's just more like I have a whole like plan on my wall of what I want to do. It's like, I'm still a fan of physical copies and stuff like that. And I know people still do, like, will support that. So I want to make at least a limited amount. And at the same time, too, I want to make T-shirts of the project and stuff like that. So that way, I don't just like, oh, here's just a project. No, I got the physicals,
Merch.
I got the merch, and then videos to go with it as well. So
I love what you're doing, man.
The whole rollout.
I don't have, like, my album hasn't come out yet. I don't have a record company that's got tons of artists or anything on it. It's just me. Mm-hmm. I got a great manager and some really cool people. My first show's coming up, but the reason I'm saying this is, like, if my deal allows me to distribute artists and things like that, I definitely want to, hear what you're doing more, because me might be able to help you out. I would love to, because I like what you're like one of the best do-it-yourself artists I've seen, but you don't have the exposure you deserve. And I don't know you have to spend money to get that. And that's the hard part, right?
Yeah.
I've spent a lot of money on the production and the technical stuff. Like for my show for the last year, like I haven't really been able to sit around recording guitar parts because I've been busy creating how to play it live with all the backtracks and Ableton. And I have a drummer. I have a fucking drummer now, and he's awesome. His name's Jack, and he can sing. So, but I'm doing my first gig without him because he's out of town, and I'm just going to do a warm-up gig with some friends of mine in their band before they do some shows, and I'm going to just play to the drums and stuff. But I got to get that dialed in, and hopefully get some shows happening soon. I'd love to play a show sometime anywhere near you guys. Well, so thank you for coming on. What I'll do is I'll let you know when we're going to post this season 2. I'm pretty excited about it. If you have any releases coming up, please let me know, and I'll put them on the podcast page. I can update it. And I'd love to have you back if you have more going on. And I'd love to see you if we have a show. Maybe you can come sing your verse somewhere.
I'm down, bro. Just let me know whenever you're in town or near my area. I'm down to show up to do that.
Can you fly to Canada for like the next 3 weeks for one half for a 30-minute show? Come up and sing one song.
I wish I had the money like that right now, bro. If I had the money like that, I wouldn't mind doing something like that. Well, I've never been to Canada, bro.
Do you have a passport?
No, I don't have a passport.
Get a 10-year passport so that when you have the opportunity, you're not like, oh shit, I don't have a passport. So there's some advice. If you want to go international with your music career, get a fucking passport.
Do you have to get the vaccine in order to get the passport or how does that work?
Well, I mean, are you getting the vaccine?
No, I haven't gotten it.
So
I don't know if I want to get it, but I mean, at some point I know eventually I'm going to have to get it.
Well, I don't want to go on here and tell people what to do, but I would say talk to your doctor. Unless there's some reason you can't, you probably should, and then you can work. So as a musician, you can't do shows at venues that require double vaxes, and the testing is annoying. I mean, unless you have some reason not to get it, just fucking get the vaccine, people. Anyway, so enough about that. But I'm glad that you seem like you're doing real well out there. So hopefully we get to visit again sometime soon. And the places where people can find your music, is the best place your Instagram? And if so, you want to just tell me that and I'll put it up in front here.
Yeah, it's at Anonymous the MC94.
Yeah. Do you have a website?
No, I don't have a website right now. I had a website, but I had to get that going again. But you can find me on YouTube. Just type in Anonymous MC, and if you can't find that, just type in Anonymous Better Days, and you can subscribe to my channel from right there.
Excellent.
So yeah, usually I have all my singles right there. You can find me on Spotify. Just look up Anonymous Touch the Sky, and that should pop up right there. And yeah, pretty much any platform, SoundCloud. Even I don't use SoundCloud no more, but it shows up on there. And
when you do write your lyrics, like, are you one of those people who can just rap on the fly? Like, are you good at that? I mean, I think from what I've heard,
freestyling?
Yeah, like, is that something you do, or do you like to record it and then trim the fat and go back and then like Dr. Dre that shit, or how do you?
No, like let's say if I write it, it usually just like I'll kind of like freestyle a little bit, not too much. Like I'll just start and I'll figure out like a line, and from that one line I'll just build off of it. Like I'll be thinking of this fucking, like the other day I was thinking about a line I said, like the higher the hill, the bigger the bill, the higher they say the higher the hill, the bigger the bill. I say the higher I am, the better I feel, or something like that. And that was because I was just driving. I was like, that's a funny little line right there. I'm gonna put that away and use that for something.
I like that. That's cool.
And I was like, all right, that can be something that like if I find the right beat to it, because it wasn't like I listened to a beat and I wrote it. It was just like, oh, that'd be cool to say, and I just wrote it down. I was like, all right. Usually when I do that, there'll be like little stuff that I put away. Then eventually I'll find a beat and I'll put it and I'll listen to it. I'm like, huh, that goes right there, and then I'll finish off the song like that.
So when that drops someday on some song, we'll link back from this podcast to that song. Love it.
I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna use it.
I think you should, man. And hopefully we can all get in a room together and make music again. That'd be fun.
Oh, definitely. I'm gonna release the Be Alright too.
I like it.
I know, man. My friend's been asking me to release it. And I'm like, all right, dude. Like, I need to release that. I'm gonna get it mastered too. So I have the stems to it. I know I have all the stems. I just need to go get it mastered. I have a homie that masters, so I'm gonna have him master it and then release it. So man, I'm pretty excited for that. So I'm gonna have the So What project. Then after that, I have 3 songs I recorded with right there at the XLNT Studios.
Excellent, yeah.
Excellent. And I have 3 songs with that, so I'll just call it like the Lost and Found EP, since I recorded those songs like a few years ago and put them out.
It's still new until it comes out.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have Boof Boof, and I'm working on more songs. So I'm like thinking like, all right,
I got brand new music. Sorry to cut you off. I got brand new music that was written before you were born. It's brand new until it comes out, my friend. It's all brand new. So I know you're saying you've got lost things, but like you're still a brand new artist, you know? So like when you put something out, it's brand new. You don't have to tell people it's old because they don't care.
Yeah.
And they don't know unless they ask. I mean, like if for some reason it sounds older, but I think like if it's timeless, that's dope.
No,
Your shit sounds great. You spit really good lines. I love what you're doing. I'd love to hear more, and I wish you really well, man. So we'll have to reconnect again soon. Anything you want to say before we rock out today?
Just thank you for having me, bro, and for giving me a platform to to share my music on and to show what I'm all about. So thank you for that, bro.
Oh, hey, anytime. And just so you know, like I know it seems like we haven't done much since we last saw you, but literally the record's still not out yet. So it's like all this time and it's like literally just about to happen. So thanks for your patience on all that, and hopefully we'll make some money, right? All right, buddy.
Do a video for that song, dude.
Okay, so the first video is I'm Not Sorry. The second video is going to likely be Change. I don't know what the third video is, but it's going to either be Vibin' Me or So Gone. That's what I'm thinking. And if we do the video, I'm calling you. I might make you do the scene out there, but I'd rather be out there with you and do a whole shoot. We have a really good video production company. I think you're going to like I'm Not Sorry. I'll send it to you as soon as I can. It's not online yet.
For sure, I'm looking forward to that, dude.
All right, thanks, bud. And so this has been another episode of the Musicians Insider. I'm KRONIS once again, and thanks for your time today. Thanks.
All right, thanks.
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm really good. Welcome to the Musicians Insider. This is my podcast. I run from my home office, my spot of jamness. This is
very cool.
You're swiveling on top of my hoverboard.
Dig, I like it.
You have a nice wall of guitars behind you there, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah, that's some of them.
For a second, I'm like, is that an image or is that real? I'm like, damn, that's pretty incredible.
It's real. I could give you the tour if you want.
You know what? I would like have nothing more than ask you to give me the tour. Let's see what you got.
You want to do that now?
Sure, why not? And then we'll talk a little bit. Actually, let's just give a little introduction first. So welcome to the Musicians Insider podcast. I'm Aaron KRONIS. What I do is I like to interview musicians and artists and people in the industry around the world and ask them for advice to give to my audience about how perhaps they could one day do what you're doing or learn from your experience.
Great. Cool.
Pretty chill. I don't have any questions printed out to read to you from ChatGPT or anything weird like that. It's just a conversation. And
I need some answers from ChatGPT, actually.
It's all about making a really long question prompt.
Right. Yeah.
There's a job now called a prompt engineer.
Nice.
So let's do the tour. Why not?
Cool. Yeah. Let me see if I can flip this around. Yeah, it's cool.
Great.
I can even zoom and stuff.
Oh,
This
right
is the
on.
wall of the more used stuff. Um, this is where I usually end up down here.
You're such a session
Les
player.
Les Paul or Stratland. I have this cool telly that I built from Warmouth. You know that company?
WARMUTH?
OTH.
OTH.
They're in Washington State. And
I'll
you
put a
can
link.
kind of, it's like you do it yourself kind of thing. So it comes and there's just a body and a neck and parts and you put it together.
Oh, I would never trust myself for something like that.
Man, I did it in a weekend and I'm not handy. It was really, really cool.
What kind of
And
tools?
then over here we have the
Sitar.
slightly less used stuff. And then some other weird stuff, even less used stuff back here.
So for the
Some of
kids
the-
at home, a session guitar player, this is what their studio can sometimes really, really grow into stuff like this. Look at all the guitars and pedals and
And
everything.
I guess all the people listening on the podcast only are just have already tuned out and are listening to something else now.
That's the best part of it all. We're not describing what he's showing too much, but I do have my podcast is a video, and I do encourage people to go to the YouTube channel and watch these as well. But yeah, he's showing me an amazing collection of instruments and amps and everything in his different rooms.
This used to be an ISO booth, but now it's just spillover for other stuff. And then let's see. And then so here's some amps over here. These are all I have 4 heads on a head switcher, so I can real quick go back and forth between sounds. Got some pedals on the floor.
I like the Vox
pedals
wah
on the shelf. Yeah, that's actually modified, but it does sound very good.
I modified mine too. Interesting.
Yeah, and then I use my little controller, so I can pretend to be a real engineer. I got a little bit of outboard gear, and that's kind of it, What else do you need?
Someone to push all the buttons.
Exactly, I do need that, as a matter of fact.
Well, that's really cool. Well, I definitely want to ask you a couple things. Like I did read a bit about what you've been up to, and I see that you've done some pretty big things. So I think what I'd like to ask you for is maybe just tell me a brief history of kind of a little bit about yourself, how you ended up kind of where you are. And then I'd also definitely want to ask you a tiny bit about Joe Satriani and a little bit about a couple of other things you've been doing, like the Foo Fighters and stuff. So that sounds really neat. So let's hear a little bit about where you've come from.
Okay, first I maybe need to clear up something. I think the Joe Satriani Foo Fighters thing, those are credits for a producer that I just worked with on my new record.
Okay.
So yeah, I didn't want to. I'm always kind of you see people that put these credits on their site or whatever, and you're like, wait, you really did all this? And then you find out like, well, no, like that was really a stretch. So I personally try and not do that.
Hey, no problem.
So,
I was
full disclosure, yeah.
Honestly, I was skimming through the information about you, and when I saw those names, I just thought I jotted their names down and thought ask about them. That's it.
Cool. Yeah, we can circle back to that. Well, actually, we can maybe touch on that now. I have a new record coming out in the fall, and I worked with the great producer Jim Scott. So he was Rick Rubin's engineer for many years, and he also worked with the Foo Fighters. He did one of the more recent Joe Satriani records. He's done Tom Petty, Wilco, Tedeschi Trucks Band, just a lot of my favorite records. He's got this crazy studio up in Santa Clarita that's like this wonder emporium of just insane amounts of gear. Actually, on my Instagram, I have a few videos of just walking around the place going like, wow, look at all this stuff. And he's just one of those old school engineers that gets, you do one take and then you walk in the control room for a playback and it's like, whoa, it sounds like a record already. So
very cool.
Yeah. Really,
so
really
like
fun.
I think the new record, what's it called?
That's a good question. I've got a few working titles kicking around in my head. It's funny. It's all instrumental. I don't sing. I wish I did, because life would be much easier if I sang. I could play music that fit into a nice little box. So when people said, "Oh, what's your music sound like?" I could say, "Americana singer-songwriter," or,
well, it doesn't
rock.
Just so you know, it's not that easy. I'm a singer. My artist name is KRONIS, and I do it all myself. All of it. And it's still extremely difficult to break above the crowd, even though, like, what do you do? Alt rock using EDM tools?
Right. Yeah. There's probably, a sub genre for that though on Spotify. So
hopefully.
But yeah, so I play instrumental music because I don't sing. So the guitar kind of takes the lead vocal role. And I grew up playing everything. I kind of started at the tail end of the hair metal era. And then as it was transitioning to grunge, so that was like that's all kind of in my DNA with a lot of classic rock. But then along the way, I made a pretty sharp left turn down the dark jazz highway.
Oh, wow.
And I stayed there for a few years. So it's kind of got all these elements. And I've just been kind of calling it like instrumental blues, like in the style of Jeff Beck and Larry Carlton.
I noticed you mentioned that you do some stuff at the Baked Potato. I used to live in Burbank, so I've been there a lot.
Great.
I'm near Toronto now. Pandemic sent me back. But yeah, man, I'd love to hear about some jams. You probably know Andy Sinisi, a drummer. I had him on one of my tracks, and I know him pretty good from that place too.
Yeah, I just saw Andy the other night. We went to see a mutual friend play at this little place in Santa Monica. So, yeah, I love Andy.
I miss LA so much, my friend. Yeah, he played with Frankie Valli at a little casino near us here in Rama, Ontario, and he put me on the guest list. I got to go hang out with him and see the Big Girls Don't Cry and My Girl songs. That guy's like 90 something. Wow, he's
incredible.
Old. Yeah, I love that. How is LA?
I'm still doing that when I'm 90.
Whereabouts are you? Like, you don't have to tell me specific, but are you like in Santa Monica or where are you at?
I'm in the Valley in Studio City. I'm actually about 8 minutes from the Baked Potato.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it works out. I love that place, man.
That's really cool, man. Yeah, I've had a lot of weird band meeting things go there, but like where you go to meet people, you go there.
Sure. Yeah, totally.
I also really miss the rainbow. I tell my friends about it all the time. I miss just hanging out near the Lemmy statue and enjoying the air.
Right. Yeah. Probably not the same with him gone now.
Right. I mean, but what do you do? I did see a band play at their 40th anniversary. I think it was Kix. And then I think Matt Starr is now with Kix. All these people are now joining up and doing crazy things.
Yeah.
Do you go to the NAMM show every year? Is that something you've been doing, or you've probably been a lot?
I'm one of the few that love going to the NAMM show, although I haven't been able to go the last couple of years. So, but yes, I do enjoy going. There's also like an amp show that was happening out here. I love all that stuff. It's fun.
You're definitely a gear pig, and I feel you. I have my Ernie balls here. I got a
I saw that.
I got a Majesty. This is my favorite guitar in the world right now. Oh my God. Like, if you get a chance. And like, all I do is I flip to the piezo for clean, go back for heavy, and that I use Ableton to do my switching. Cool. And this is just a JP6 as well as this one here. Really love those guitars. Ernie Ball is my crew.
They're great guitars, and I love the people who play them, especially Steve Morse. He was a big influence on me.
I got to meet him at NAMM a few times. Real nice guy, and like he knows how to play like the right way, like the right songs.
He was a big influence
because he wrote them.
It was like, well, yeah, exactly. But it was like, oh, here's a guy who's just kind of down to earth, like he's not stumbling off the stage, and he's like flying planes and also writing this crazy music and making it happen. Like this kind of outside of the box music. He's just committed to doing it for so many years and has the respect of his peers. So it was kind of like he was somebody I sort of almost like maybe modeled myself after a little bit.
Right. Session player. On that note, if someone is watching this and says, I wish I could go to Los Angeles and be a session guitar player, but I can't afford to blah, blah, blah. But even though it's actually pretty cheap to live in LA, if you know what you're doing, I would say, what kind of advice have you got for someone who maybe wants to try to do it from wherever they're at, or how do you get into it?
I would say be patient. It takes a while. I mean, I've been here almost 20 years now, and I feel like I'm finally kind of starting to reap some of the rewards of all my years of like just head down, nose to the grindstone kind of stuff. But also you got to stay well-rounded. I mean, as a session player anymore, you don't really have the luxury of having like 3 guitars on a date where somebody can go, okay, you cover the hard reading stuff, I'll cover, the acoustic strumming stuff, and a third person can just be like auxiliary, whatever else needs to be covered. So it's just like they need to be able to hire one person. Like this morning, I was doing this thing where it's acoustic guitar, ukulele, banjo, and dobro all kind of playing these cues. And I mean, if I had my way, I'd be just playing Steve Morse music all the time, But I love making people happy through the guitar. And so a lot of times that means playing dobro and playing banjo and figuring it out when they write stuff that's actually, hey, the banjo actually doesn't go that low, but maybe I can tune down, low enough to cover this part, or, all these little challenges that come up along the way, kind of navigating that stuff. It's a fun puzzle to solve for people. So again, getting back to your question about advice, I think you have to be, you have to play well with others, play nice in the sandbox. So when people do send you things, it's like, clearly a guitar player did not write this part, because no guitar player, it's not even physically possible to play these 4 notes on a guitar at the same time. But you can't come back to a person and say that. You have to either figure out a way. You either have to figure out a way to make it happen, to where the effect that they're going for is achieved, or you have to, if you really need to, you can address it and say, hey, we need to maybe take a look at these bars. What's most important to grab here? I mean, the good thing is, through the magic of Pro Tools, kind of anything is playable these days. But getting back to your thing about, oh, you need a button pusher, it's like sometimes I spend so much time doing this stuff in Pro Tools where it's like, hold on, I need another track, and then you have to name it so it looks pretty when they, because you're not just playing guitar anymore. You're engineering, you're running Pro Tools, you're producing and arranging on the spot. When you do get to a section where it's like, okay, this is unplayable, 9 times out of 10, I'm working by myself, and the client might be across the world, and it's, they're asleep because it's nighttime there, and there's not really, the turnaround is so tight. It just has to get done right now in this moment. So you really have to wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, and it doesn't really make sense to have another person if you're the one getting paid for the gig, right? Because then you're paying someone else to do what you just need to learn how to handle your own.
Well, and that's, again, it's something I've actually tried a few times, and I haven't really found somebody who honestly is willing to work hard enough. And I think that's where 9 times out of 10 people who, like I did, move here to do something creative, I don't know if they're willing to make the sacrifices that you have to make. I mean, you really have to put everything else to the side and make whatever it is that you moved here to do, your number one priority, to the detriment of probably most other things in your life for at least a good 10 or 20 years, And
I feel you. And I was just going to say, I used to be in bands where we were really blessed. We would hire the best engineers in town, and I got used to doing that, so I wouldn't ever compromise anything. So therefore, I'm not mixing it, because I can't. It's gonna never sound as good. Because I don't know, you seen Steel Panther? Because you're like,
sure.
So my buddy who was in our group our mixer, Jay Rustin, amazing guy. He's their producer.
Yeah, I love his work. Yeah,
I haven't seen him in a while. I've been hoping to get him on here, but I was blessed to have him as the engineer when I did my first record, and he ended up joining our band for a bit because we had it's a long story, but love that guy. So after having his ears on all my mixes, I was super hesitant about ever touching anything unless it was someone like him or better, which kept me out of really getting anything done for a while too. But found a good studio at Hollywood and Vine that's really cool called Excellent Sound, and they're more EDM. So I went to them and said, look, I want to do alt rock, but with EDM tools, and I use Ableton for everything. It's amazing. Very, very fun. Cool. But I don't do session work really. I'm not out doing compositions and things and I think what you're doing is something that, it's a skill in itself to be able to craft, music for other people and not be attached to it too much and feel like you're giving away your babies. And that's something I wanted to ask you about. How do you not give away your best stuff when you're in it, because sometimes you just like, oh, I got to use that part I wrote, and you're like, crap, that was mine.
Well, I mean, that's the job, and it's not like what's the expression, a zero-sum game. I mean, there's no, hopefully there's, you know, an unending well of ideas that, I mean,
brilliant.
If you're doing your job correctly, and I mean, in a way that gets into a little bit of woo-woo life stuff, like you do need to stay inspired and wake up every day coming in ready to make music. And you know, you go through phases where you're like, oh, I played this part, you know. I mean, I myself, like, I've found things where now I definitely do sometimes go, okay, I know this works, but like, please, let's find something else.
Less generic, like.
Well, also, I mean, it's hard because sometimes you are working on these projects for years with people, and they've come to expect a certain, you know, level of density in terms of what you're giving them. You know, I mean, a lot of times it's like, hey, we've got this, like I do these, they're like big parades for theme parks. You can guess maybe which ones they might be.
Yeah.
That anytime there's a new, like Halloween, they do another big parade. Or let's jump.
Clearly, you're talking about Knott's Berry Farm.
So,
just kidding.
So all year long, you know, you're getting these things, and a lot of times the ask, I guess you would say, is like, hey, we have this song about Halloween, and it just sounds a little flat. Like, can you make the choruses pop? Can you make the verse not sound so stagnant? All this kind of stuff. So you do develop, you know, tricks, or just, it's not even a trick. It's just things that, you know, okay, I know, like, take power chords doubled, and, you know, that kind of stuff. These techniques that are going to work. Yeah. On the one hand, it's like, well, to your question about doing the same thing over and over again, it's like, if that's what works and that's what's going to make the person happy that who hired you, then that's kind of what you should do. Also balancing that with, like, I don't know, does it matter if you've done that 1,000 times? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. You know, I mean, this is getting into the art side of things versus the craft side of music, you know?
Well, have you written a song for your next record and then ended up using it for a client because it was perfect, and then you can't use it on your album anymore?
Not really, because I'm not really doing any writing for the most part. I mean, I do some of that, but that kind of stuff is, I'm not precious about it. So,
got it.
And it tends to be more like very much in a specific box, which is not the sandbox that I play in when I have my artist hat on. So I do have a new single coming out, and it's called Late to the Party. And it's kind of, you know, it harkens back to like the classic vinyl era, I guess I would say. And it's funny, to your question, what's it sound like? Usually people that are way into jazz go, this is rock. This is way too rock for me to like play on my jazz radio station. And then people that only play rock music are like, man, the guitar playing's cool, but it's a little too jazzy, you know, to put on this playlist or something like that. So,
that means you're balanced on the fine line of the two, which is a good thing.
Maybe. Yeah, either that, or I'm, again, following in Steve Morse's footsteps and making music that's just completely unmarketable.
Well, I think at this point, everything's marketable if you just market it.
Yeah. I try and look at it like, well, would I like this? I mean, and in a way, like, it's like I'm making this maybe for like 17-year-old me, you know, like, and I think like, yeah, I would be way into this actually. So I want to believe that there's, you know, some kid out there who likes all the same stuff that I liked, and you know, just wants to hear cool music made live in a room with human beings.
And now that live music has come back, are there any shows you've been planning to go to or gone to that have blown you away lately, or anything you'd recommend going to see, any tours, or what's inspiring for you?
You know, I do frequent the Baked Potato quite a bit still. And actually, I just now I got an email. There's a great young guitarist named Pedro Martin. I believe he's Brazilian. and I saw he's playing there in 2 nights, so I'm definitely going to go check that out.
Way cool.
I just try and keep my ears open and, pay attention to things that are happening. And it is hard. And this is one of the frustrating things about being a musician is, I mean, there's so many times where, I mean, actually, this just happened. I was trying to get tickets for Shakti, John McLaughlin's kind of world music project. And it's down in Orange County, and I just got booked for a session that day. That's kind of like an all-day thing. So there went that opportunity to see music, But I mean, it's a good problem to have. But
lucky for you, where you live, people play there.
Yeah. We are spoiled here in LA. There's so much stuff coming through here all the time.
I did live there for a decade. 13 years. I just came back, and I'm missing everything. I'm going to a bluegrass festival on the 23rd of June in a place called Tottenham, Ontario. And you know why I booked that? Because I don't know any of the bands, and I just want to go to, I'm missing Burning Man again. We run the skateboard camp. I haven't gone in 3 years because of the pandemic. So I just want to go to some kind of festival and not care about missing some bands that I really want to see because I don't know who they are anyway. So it should be a great time.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like fun. I love doing that kind of stuff.
Why not? That's really neat. So anything else coming up that you'd want to maybe just tell our listeners about that isn't related to them becoming stars in any way?
Sure. So I have my hand in a few different projects lately. So last year, there's a drummer in town. He's been here for decades named John J.R. Robinson. He was Quincy Jones's first call. He played a lot, on a lot of Michael Jackson songs. He's been on I don't know, he's like one of Rolling Stone's greatest drummers of all time list and all this kind of thing. We Are the World, and what else? Just all kinds of insane credits. And I got to know him just from playing around town, playing sessions. And we've always kind of said, hey, we should do something someday. So last year I got an email out of the blue. Andrew, this is typical JR fashion. Hey, July 11th to 12th, you around? Let's make a record. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. So he put together this little organ trio, and we went in the studio for 2 days, made a record. So it's myself on guitar, JR on drums, and a great organist from Omaha, Nebraska named Mitch Town. So, and we call it SRT, Sinowick Robinson Town. And man, it's crazy. That was less than a year ago. And we actually have a small record deal on a Japanese label. So we're actually getting ready to go do a tour of Japan in a couple of weeks. And this is all actually going to feature a great tenor sax player named Tom Scott, who was, again, in that kind of world. He's played on every top 10, back when there were saxophone solos on top 10 songs, back in the day. And he had his own band called the LA Express. So we're going to do some of our music, some of his music. And really looking forward to it. If you like instrumental music, I think it's going to be great.
That's a lot of fun. Well, the thing that's great about instrumental music is there's no bad singing.
Well, sometimes I sing along with what I play, so that there might still be some bad singing.
Just say you're using the talk box.
There we go. Yeah, Peter Frampton style.
Well, that's really neat, man. I'm impressed. Well, I'd love to hear some of it. I'll have to check it out. And so what you're telling me is you're big in Japan. So that's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yes.
I've always wanted to have an instrumental band that was big in Japan, but someday.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I guess on that note, I think we've touched on pretty much everything that you're doing. I'll definitely post links to all the things you've got. I'll get your website and everything off you if you have one. And
sure. Yep.
Other than that, if there's any other last minute sort of advice you have for our audience that you want to give them as a takeaway, you can feel free to let them know that. Tell them how to say your name properly so we all know it, because people say KRONIS, and it's supposed to be KRONIS. Right.
Sure. So it's Andrew Sinowick. And I know it's a really cool name. It's not a stage name or anything like that.
And what's your background?
Jokingly. It's Polish, actually. Yeah. And what's funny is when I moved out here to make it in the big city, make it in Hollywood, I thought, man, should I change my name? Nah, that's too Hollywood, man. I don't want to do that. But cut to 20 years later, it's like just making a reservation at a restaurant. It's like, what's the last name? What? How do you spell it? If I could go back in time, maybe I would. But, one of the good things is it's very unique. So my website, andrewsinowick.com, was readily available. And it actually bodes well for my Google search results, as a matter of fact. So it's pretty cool on that front.
And my day gig is digital marketer, SEO. I was an SEO director out in LA for 13 years. So I'm going to ask you, but how's the search volume on that term? How many people are actually typing it? You know what I mean? So that's the thing, right? You're going to be looking at. So it's like, yeah, I can find my name on any username I need, but is anyone ever going to type it? You got to ask that question. And,
well, the good thing is, if people go, shoot, what was that name? If you get close and you put in the word guitar, you'll find me.
That's great.
I'm easy to find.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And did you see Apple's announcement? Are you excited about it?
I did not. I kind of live under a rock sometimes, so you'll have to.
$3,500 for a pair of ski goggles you put on. We'll see where that
nice.
We'll see where that goes. I think it's exciting times, but I'm not a billionaire, so I don't get to play with those toys as much as the rest of some of them do. But Andrew, great to speak to you. Thanks a lot for coming on the Musicians Insider podcast. Maybe in a year or so you can come back on and tell me how things are going, or if you have something new to promote.
Sure, I'd love that. Thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Well, thanks a lot, and that's it for the day. So you have a wonderful day. Thanks very much, Andrew.
You too.